Hello everybody! So today we are going to be talking about my January, oh my gosh, January's already over, I can't believe that, my January wrap-up and my February TBR. I like to combine them because I am an avid reader, but I feel like I don't read as much for it to be just one video. I don't want it to be just like this tiny little video, so I combine mine. So, starting with the January wrap-ups, I had a pretty good month reading. I read 4 books in the month of January. One of them was a new read, and then the other ones, well, I'm going to call 2 of them new reads because one of them I read before and I forgot everything in the plot, so when I tried to go back and read the second book, I could not remember it, so I kind of relived it, so we're going to call it 2 new books, but the other 2 were rereads because one was for a video, and then the other one I just had the itch to read it. So let's start with those. The first reread that I did this month was Looking for Alaska by John Green. I love this book. It's one of my favorite books. I love Alaska and all the characters in it. I know a lot of people have different opinions on this book, but I personally really like it, and I had this dire itch to read it, and so I read it, loved it all the same that I did when I first read it, and I don't know, John Green's writing is, to me, really, really great, and so I just wanted to reread this because I hadn't read a John Green book since The Fault in Our Stars when that movie was coming out. No, I read Paper Towns. Forgot about that. I read Paper Towns when that movie was coming out, and I have Turtles All the Way Down. I got that at Barnes & Noble a couple months ago, and I want to read that, but I felt like I needed like a John Green like intervention before I read Turtles All the Way Down because I don't know, I felt like I needed it because I read this one before I read The Fault in Our Stars, and then I read The Fault in Our Stars and then Paper Towns. I have not read Abundance of Catherine's and Will Grayson. I have them, I just have not gotten to them, but yeah. So this month I read this. If you want to know what Looking for Alaska is about, it's about this boy named Miles, and he transfers to a school called Culver Creek, and he meets a bunch of friends who aren't really the best friends. They're really interesting people, but they smoke, they drink, they're kind of the outcasts of the school, and you meet Alaska Young, who is this character who is described as screwed up and beautiful, and she's smart, she reads, but she has a very underlying depressive state that she tries to hide from the characters some of the times, and I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoy Alaska, and when I read this, it really hit home for me as Alaska State. So it has always been one of my favorite books, and I really recommend it. This is the 10th anniversary edition cover, and like you open it, it's red. The next book I read in the month of January was the one by Kira Cass, which I have a reread review that I'll put up in the iCard, so you can check that out. But this is the last book in the selection series. I was doing a series which I will continue to do, but I want to read some new books on my shelf, and it's called Reread Reviews, where I reread a book, review it because I want to. I hadn't read these books for a while, and this is one of my favorite book series. I love Kira Cass, but if you want to know more about this series and all of the fun in this, I will leave a little iCard up top here, so you can definitely go check those out. So the first book that I read that was new in my hands this month was Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart, which I was really excited to read this. There will be a book talk coming out soon. I just haven't gotten around to it because I was sick when I read this and I had no voice. And then I went to Colorado for 4 days unexpectedly, so I haven't been able to film this book talk, but it's coming. But I was really excited for this book, and because E. Lockhart, I loved We Were Liars. It was so good. I read that in one sitting. This one, not so much. I got through it fairly quickly just because the size, but I think that I had such high expectations for this one, and it looks so interesting with like the blonde hair and the scissors, that I wasn't really impressed. And the way that the story is told, it's told in where we start off in the beginning and then we learn, it's told in like kind of an order that I wasn't really fond of. So I gave this about 3 stars on Goodreads. This book is about, as told on the back of the cover, is Imogene is a runaway heiress, an orphan, a cook, and a cheat. Jewel is a fighter, a social chameleon, and an athlete. An intense friendship, a disappearance, a murder, or maybe 2, a bad romance, or maybe 3, blunt objects, disguises, blood, and chocolate, the American dream, superhero, spies, and villains, a girl who refuses to give people what they want from her, a girl who refuses to be the person she once was. So that's pretty much what you need to know going into this book. But I mean, I enjoyed it, as I just had really high expectations for it. But yeah, I flew through this, and I will have a book talk up as soon as I get it filmed. The next book I read was Red Queen, which I had read Red Queen before, and I think in my November to be reads, I had said I was reading Glass Sword. So this is what happened. I didn't remember what happened in this. Like, I remembered certain plot points and who I liked and who I didn't and who made me mad in the book, but I didn't remember all of the points, and it was driving me insane. So I put down Glass Sword and I picked up Red Queen, and I read this on the airplane when I went to Colorado. So I read this, and then whenever I was in the car or getting ready in Colorado, I was listening to the audiobook, which I really enjoyed the audiobook. And I, again, loved this book just as much as I did the first time. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the series and everything like that, but I truly really enjoy it. I love Mare, and I love Cal and Maven, and the story dynamic. Anything that has to do with royalty or that kind of system, really, I really enjoyed. I'm also watching Reign on Netflix right now, which I'm highly enjoying. Oh, I love Reign. So that kind of got me in the mood to read something that's very much Red Queen-esque, and I will be doing a book review on this because I have some opinions on it, and I know this is a hot topic, controversial topic in the booktube community when it came out. Red Queen is about a girl named Mare Barrow, and she lives in a world where there's 2 different blood types. There's the Silvers, who rule everything, and they have powers that are controlled by the elements, and then she is a part of the other blood type, which is the red blood type, which they are pretty much the peasants. They do the dirty work, they go to war, and that's just how it is. Mare ends up finding out that she has a power, although her blood is red, and it kind of sends the royals into a frenzy, and it's kind of her story about what blood means and the royals and how she has to survive pretending that she's a Silver now. And it's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. So I highly recommend picking this up if you have not read Red Queen, because I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. So, yeah. Next we're going to talk about my to be reads, which has 3 books on it, but one of them is a giant book that I'm ashamed I have not read yet. So yeah, the first 2 books I have on my TBR for February would be Glass Sword and King's Cage. I just kind of want to marathon through Red Queen, because I feel like if I put a book down in front of a series and I don't continue to read them, if they're all out, they never get read. Like, I have books up here. You can't see them, but I have books up here that I've read the first one, and I'm going to have to reread the first one because I don't remember what I read. I don't know what I read, so I'm hoping to just marathon through these. I'm excited to read these this month because I want to be caught up on the Red Queen fandom train, because I don't want to be spoiled, and I love these books, and and the new one comes out in the coming months. This next book on my to be read, I'm highly ashamed I have not read it yet, and that would be Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. I've never done this with a Cassandra Clare novel. I always get them and read them right away. Always have since City of Glass came out, when I read the first two, and then City of Glass came out and I read it the day it came out. I don't know what got into me. I was in a huge reading slump and I tried to read the first couple chapters of this book. And I just didn't get sucked in. And it's nothing to do with the story, because I love Emma. Emma is my favorite shadow hunter in all of the chronicles of all of her series. My favorite shadow hunter used to be Tessa, and she got swept under the rug by Emma because I love her so much. And I love the characters in this book, or in this series. I haven't read this one, but I need to read this. The new one comes out this year, and I need to get caught up on this series and know what's going on. I just need to get on the bandwagon with this book. I know it's shameful that I have not read it yet. It's a big book. I don't know if I was intimidated by it. I'm not usually intimidated by things of this nature, but I will read it. I'll leave a Goodreads review, because at this point, I don't know if I'm going to do a read or a book talk on this, just because it's been so long since it came out. But I mean, I might if I probably will, because I will get so excited about the characters and my love for Emma and Julian and Mark and the twins, and just love it. Why haven't I read this? So that is it for my January wrap up and my February to be reads. I'm so excited to be back and not sick, because I've been sick for literally months, and just to be back and filming booktube videos, because I love books, I love writing books, I love reading books, and I just needed to be back on camera talking about them, because I have no one else to talk to books about. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below some of your to-be-reads in the month of February, or your favorite book that you read in January. And if you did enjoy this video, please hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 100 subscribers, which makes me so excited. I love growing my Wonderland family, and it's just so much fun to have you guys to watch and comment and just talk about books with me. And if you enjoy my face or anything that I have to say, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And I also have a website that I'll put down below, and I just talk about books. If I don't review them on my videos, I will review them in my books or my book blog, so you can go ahead and find some fun stuff about me on there. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video. I can't wait. Bye, loves.